You are tuning in to a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the Connecting With show with Betty Jane Ware. Betty Jane is a third-generation seer and highly intuitive reader. She is a practicing witch with over 30 years in the craft. An international psychic, Betty Jane has a number of well-known personalities as her clients. Betty Jane is very much to the point, a natural reader, very intuitive, with whom you immediately feel a connection with. Should you have a reading together, you will be calling back for future appointments. Betty Jane is currently working on her 4th book in the Connecting With book series. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 323-870-3791. Press 1 to get into the queue so that you may ask Betty Jane a question. Enjoy this healing and insightful show.
Hello, and welcome to the Connecting With show. I'm Betty Jane. So before we get started today, I'm going to do the information commercial part of the show, and I'm doing quotation marks in the air, and you can't see me, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing over the next little while. This weekend coming, I'm in Belleville, Ontario at the Travel Lodge with PsychicExpos.com or Vision Quest, as they may also be known as, and I will be doing readings there Friday from noon until 9, Saturday from 11 until 9, and Sunday from 11 until 7. So come in and see me. If you mention that you heard me on the air, there might even be a special prize for you. What else is going on in my very busy couple of weeks coming up? I am in Toronto the first weekend in April, and then I am in Ottawa, and I am in Oneonta, New York, and I am teaching the first weekend in May in Salem, Massachusetts. So if you go to www.Avalon College of Metaphysical Studies, you will find the information there on Witchcraft Boot Camp, or you can email me and I will send you the information, and my email address is bettyjaneware@me.com. And I see that we have some callers already, so Tiffany, whenever you're ready, you can put the first one through at number 863, please.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks. And who am I speaking with?
It's spring. Yay.
Yay. Yeah, absolutely. And who am I speaking with today?
My name is Julia.
Hi, Julia, and how can I help?
Well, I want to relocate. I live in Florida, and I want to probably stay in Florida for a little while. Mm-hmm. And I've been a little wishy-washy about the move. It's like, I want to move, but then, the ego mind, fear, oh no, can I do this? So I keep kind of going back and forth. So.
Okay. What's stopping you?
Fear. I worry, can I do this? It's, well, basically I divorced after over 30 years of marriage, and I was mostly a homemaker, so it's like getting myself, finding a place to live on my own, finding employment. It's everything. So it's like, ooh, wow.
So this is a whole new world for you.
Yeah. So it's like on one hand, I want to be excited and look forward to a new adventure, and the other side, the little girl me is like, oh my gosh, that's, it's too much. It's too much. So.
Okay. Well, I've got to tell you that right now is a great time for you, spiritually, emotionally, and it's a good time to take on a new opportunity and new challenge. So as overwhelmed as you are, this is actually really good timing for you, and there is no doubt in my mind that you will succeed in whatever you do. It's a really good time for some self-development, maybe some belief in yourself, time to move forward. You will have success, and you will have the protection and the comfort that you need at this point. So this is really good for you right now. don't get caught up in the material things. It's going to happen for you. That job you're thinking about is going to be yours. So don't panic about this. You've got this. You're stronger than you're giving yourself some credit for.
Wonderful. Well, I live kind of in the central Florida area, and I'm feeling like I'd like to be closer to the water.
Absolutely.
And at one point I was looking like on the Atlantic coast, toward about 2/3 down the state on the Atlantic side. And then I thought, here I go flip-flopping again. I thought, well, maybe it'll be better on, the Gulf of Mexico side. So
well, it's funny,
I drive myself crazy.
I'm feeling the
feel
west side for you. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I am really definitely feeling that west side for you. No, I think it's a whole new. I think you need this. It's like a fresh start. It's a new beginning. It's a lot of different things. It's really a wealth of opportunity for you here. So don't doubt yourself. You've got this.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Spring into spring, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's spring, but spring in Florida, so it's got to be gorgeous.
Yeah, very nice. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and happy spring, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. You have a good afternoon.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, Tiffany. So I see we have another caller. If you want to put caller 845 through, that would be awesome. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? And who am I speaking with?
Lucy.
And how can I help you today?
Okay. Also, I'm kind of comfortable where I live. And I'm always dreaming to move somewhere else. And what do you see about that?
Where are you thinking about going? Further north? South?
No place yet. It's
Okay.
I would like to just be movable, like no place.
Okay.
But then at this point, I do really have roots where I live because I have been living here for 30 years.
Okay. What I'm seeing and hearing is now is the time you have to make your decision. So stop sitting on that fence and go forward with the decision. If you don't, you never will. So now is the time to sort of grab it and take action and make it happen if you really want to. If you don't do it in the next couple of months, then you're never going to do it. You've been putting it off for so long that you've gotten very comfortable in making excuses and not doing it.
I got a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a good job. I
have
a nice property.
Yeah.
And,
so it's just that if you want to make a change, now is the time.
Okay. That's it?
Yeah, it's time is now. If you don't want to do, if you want to make
it's like healing. I used to do healing, and then all of the time I see all these people doing healing and getting sick and getting over and pushing other people. I say, forget about that. I just gonna be, and I just being. Of course, I'm taking care of whatever I don't use. Give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
If somebody else can be happy with what I have, they can have it.
That's right. But you've got to stop. You've got to start doing things for you and stop putting things off. You put that stuff off so much that you get very comfortable where you are. And if you're so comfortable, then you don't make the changes that maybe you want or need to do. Sometimes we have to think outside that comfort zone. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I just yeah, my goal is just to be movable and to travel and to use what I have. Just not to wait until I cannot walk or to live it. All that I work for, just to use it, enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be able to enjoy what I have.
Absolutely. But if you want to make change, who's the only one that can make the change?
I do.
And that's got to be you.
To be mobile. Yeah, that's the reason I'm in the process of getting myself movable. Very good. Yeah.
And now is the time. So this is a good time to be doing that. You need to do that over the next little while and get comfortable with doing that.
Do you see selling me? Do you see me selling what I have?
I do see that, and you're
What
selling
I
it at a
own?
profit. You'll make
Wonderful.
money doing this, so it will be a profitable sale. But the time to move is now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you for your call.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So everybody seems to want to relocate, and I think that's a spring thing. I did have something I was sort of mulling over in my mind as a topic tonight, and I think it's something that we all sort of wonder about from time to time, and that is, what's the difference between a psychic, a medium, and an empath? To be fair, I don't want to say, I don't know what the word is, but the word empath to me, everybody tells me they're an empath or they're empathic or they've got this, that, and the other. And I know that there's a lot of really good empaths out there, but it seems to me that that word is getting overused. So what really constitutes being an empath? Well, it's feeling what others are feeling. It's not knowing what others are feeling. It's actually going through the process and feeling it in your heart. A friend of yours has experienced great grief. You're feeling that too, even though physically you're not going through the same thing. If your partner is having a child, going through that pain and the stress of birth, that's what an empath is. And if you're empathic, you're probably a vegetarian. You're not probably sitting there chowing down on a big juicy bacon cheeseburger because you would be feeling the animal. So I really have a problem with people telling me they're an empath and they're eating, and they're not vegetarian. I think that that's probably one of the first signs. What's the difference between a psychic and a medium? That's pretty simple. A medium connects with the spirit world, and we receive our messages from either our angels, our guides, from people who have passed over. We see, we hear, we smell. We might even feel or taste what they're going through. I can recall doing an event and just being able to taste the ouzo in the man's mouth, and I knew that that's what he was drinking. So that's what I mean by taste. And sometimes when I say smell, I can smell flowers, or I can smell anything. It can be a barbecue or things like that tells me that's something that they like to do. When I'm connecting psychically, I'm just working with my client and their energy and my energy and accepting that and getting messages from how they're feeling and doing the reading in that way. One of my favorite things to do, as many of you know, is to read tarot. I love tarot. It's one of my, as I said, absolute favorites. I've been lucky enough that I've been able to study with and work with some people who are very influential in that world, and I really enjoy it. My favorite deck is the Rider-Waite deck. It's a deck that has got a wealth of meaning in each and every card, so I do appreciate that. And so I work with that deck pretty exclusively, actually. And it's the deck that my book, Connecting with Tarot, is based on, so, which is available, by the way. I guess it's another little commercial for you, through my website and as an ebook through Amazon. So that's very good. And every day I pull a tarot card, and I've made a set of stickers for my planner, and every day I put my sticker in my planner, and those will be on the website shortly as well. And today's card was the sun, and I thought that was a pretty cool card for the first full day of spring. Having the sun, having the days get longer, that the sun means that our confidence and our health and our success, these are all at high levels. We have great self-esteem. Love and career is going well. Physically, we're feeling better. Our mental and emotional energy is at a high. We're alert. We're full of happiness and optimism. And things are pretty good for us right now, so it's on an even keel. we're optimistic, we're joyful, and we're seeing positivity in any sort of new projects that we're taking on, and study and education and things like that. We're getting closer to ends of projects, so it's very good. So that's our card for today. So let's take our next caller and see what insight they can give us or what questions. So caller 617, please, Tiffany.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And who am I speaking with?
This is Annette.
Hi, Annette. How can I help you today?
What type of question can I ask?
Well, you can ask anything you want the world of the Internet to know. You're comfortable with. You're not going to embarrass me.
Right, that's true.
I raise sons. I can get through anything.
My question is in regards to a friendship relationship with a gentleman, and I'm kind of doing a lot of assessment as to where this friendship is heading. And I just want to know, what energy do you pick up around us?
Okay. So how long have you known each other?
Almost a year.
Okay. What I'm seeing and hearing is that that you're the one holding back here, and there's a lot of reasons possibly in the past that are keeping you where you are right now. There is great potential for a good relationship here, but you've got to sort of let go and move forward. You will get what you want in this relationship, but you've got to let go of that past that's sort of holding this back. This is a time that you're going to get what you want in a relationship, so don't be afraid of it. There's a lot of peace that comes with that relationship too, emotional peace.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm feeling a little unclear about his intentions.
Yeah, he's actually well, I guess what I want, what do you want is the most important thing, because what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is he's got really positive intentions and feelings, but you're the one that's sort of stopping things. But if this is the relationship you want,
really,
go for it, because he's really got your best interests at heart.
Wow. Okay, I'm a little confused. I'm confused is because I don't know what
Okay.
I guess what's holding me back is because I don't know what his intentions are with me. And yes, I've been hurt in the past because I assumed something.
Yeah.
And we just haven't talked about how we feel about each other. We just don't. We keep everything very light, and we're friends and this and that, but we don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that. Like, you're an adult. Of course you've been hurt. We can all say that. We all have aches and pains and hurts and things like that. Mm-hmm. But when we don't act, but it's time to express your emotions. You've been dancing around the issue, dancing around each other
you're right.
for a while now. So maybe it's time to actually dance together instead of around it.
That's true. It's like we both are afraid to even just approach it. I mean, we both are. I think personally we both are afraid.
Well, absolutely. I think there's a dance there that's going on, and you both are. It's sort of like that thing when you in high school. You tell me first. You tell me first. You tell me. No, you
right.
This isn't school anymore. This is
I
life.
I know.
So
I know.
Let yourself have it. Grasp it. And I know he's going to say the same thing back. I know he's in that same dance as you are. And it's just a little bit of fear of what happens if. But what happens if you don't?
Exactly.
So what happens if you don't? You keep doing this dance for another year, and that's a year wasted when you could have been, cruising the Caribbean together.
That's true. Another place where I thought we were going to go, but that never happened. But that's a whole other story. I need to let it go. Let it go. I need to hear the song from Frozen. Let it go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've never seen the movie. Like I said, I raise boys.
That's right.
And my dog doesn't watch movies, so.
I've never seen the movie either, so I've heard about the song, but I've never seen the movie. But one quick thing, do you see? I know that when we first met and started our friendship, it's slowly growing. I know that did have a girlfriend.
Mhm.
And that's another part of my hesitation.
Okay. You want to know if she's still on the scene?
Mhm.
I don't see her. I don't see her on the scene, so that means one of two things. Either I'm not seeing her because she's not important, or she's just not there anymore. So he doesn't throw people aside lightly.
No, very true.
So I think that if there was still somebody in his life, he would tell you, because he wouldn't pursue any type of relationship, friendship, or otherwise if he wasn't ready to move on. So I'm very much seeing that he's ready for this stage too, but that same fear that's holding you back is holding him back.
Yeah, because I noticed that his energy has shifted a little bit. I feel like he's coming. I feel like he's coming towards me like it was in the beginning when we first met and started to know each other. Because I'm sensing that.
Yeah. So why are you doubting yourself? Stop that.
Okay.
Move forward. This is a good time for you to do it. It's the first day of it's the first week of spring. It's about making change. It's about embracing new beginnings, planting seeds, starting new relationships. So do all of that.
That's true. That's
do all
true.
of that. It's time. You deserve this.
You're right. I do. It's been 15 years.
Absolutely.
Has anything changed? Is there anything you need to tell me? Has anything changed?
I don't know. I've been married for 32.
Anything I need to know?
So, I think, as far as I know, everything works the same, so it's all good.
Okay. I don't know. When you're out of the groove, things do shift and change, and it's like you're still, it's like you went into hibernation in the 70s, and you walk out your door in 2017, you realize that things are not the same anymore.
No,
there are phones.
But then neither are you. So take what you've learned and move forward and let yourself have some fun.
That's true.
You deserve this.
I'm going to do that.
Good.
Thank you. You're sweet. Thank you. Okay. Do you want it by text or do you want me to type it up?
Oh, well, you know what? You can Facebook me. You can send me an email. I want to hear how this goes for you. You have a great evening. And make a
you
phone
as well.
Call.
Many
Make
blessings.
a dinner date. Thank you. You too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're
all right,
welcome.
honey. All right.
Good
Bye-bye.
Night. Bye. Life is about risks sometimes. So everybody needs to take one once in a while. And sometimes, it's interesting when you do a lot of readings, sometimes that question, what's holding you back, or why aren't you, is quite often a very valid question. And when I ask those questions, I'm not expecting an answer. It's something to make you think, because so often we're the ones holding ourselves back. And it's quite often because we're giving power over an event or a person in our past, and we're letting that person or that event stop us from moving forward. And that's just letting them keep the power. If we've been badly hurt in a relationship and we don't move forward because of that, well, that still gives that person, that relationship, that incident power over us, and we really need to stop that sometimes. So it's something to think about. So let's think about what else is happening. We've sort of danced around this issue ourselves tonight. It is the first full day of spring, and what does spring bring? It brings new beginnings. It's time when underneath the surface we're seeing the trees start to bloom. We're seeing things like that. So this is a real really great time to start a new project, to let new ideas take sprout. So be writing, and I've got a million reasons not to do it. I've got to get knuckled down and work on that. Instead, I started working on an oracle deck. So that'll be something new that you'll see out probably early next year. I'm just working on the bits and pieces of it now. What did you do to celebrate the first day of spring? My family and I, my husband, my mother-in-law, and I went for a long walk in Scarborough along the bluffs. And there's a beautiful park there called Guild Park. And in Toronto, it's basically where old architectural elements were taken and formed into a sculpture garden of sorts. And it's quite beautiful. And as you walk around the park, there's little signs on each of the sculptural aspects that you can read to see the buildings that it came from and when they were moved there. And Guild Park in Toronto is one of my very favorite places to go. And the old Guild Hall, which parts of it are still there, is quite haunted, and they are redoing it in the shape of a restaurant and banquet and event center. So it's going to be open sometime this year, they say, although through the mud of the construction, I'm not sure that's really going to happen. But it is something that I'm looking forward to seeing and maybe visiting the inside and seeing it soon. What else is going on in the life of Betty Jane? Well, next week I am getting laser eye surgery, so it'll be nice not to be blind and have to wear glasses all the time. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. As I said, I am in Belleville, Ontario this weekend doing readings on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Please pre-book. Call on 416-894-2602 to pre-book an appointment with me for this weekend in Belleville, or you can call that number to book a telephone reading anytime that you would like. I have some availability coming up in the next week. I also have a Toronto Psychic Fair coming up on the first weekend in April, and then Easter weekend comes, and then I'm off to Ottawa and Oneonta, New York, and then Salem, Massachusetts for Witchcraft Boot Camp, which I'm really looking forward to. And that's where we're combining two of my books together, connecting with witchcraft and connecting with spellcraft. And I say combining two books together because these were courses that I used to run in my shop in Kingston, and I'm just sort of taking it on the road. So they will be done in Salem, Massachusetts. And let's face it, if you're going to learn the craft of being a witch, why not learn it in Salem, Massachusetts, where you can visit some of the shops and, do a little bit of sightseeing and enjoy some really great lobster, and then maybe even go up to Connecticut to my good friend Tiffany's shop at Crystal Visions and do some shopping there. And I know that Tiffany would love to see you, and I just got a great big yes on my page, and I am hoping to go there that week as well and spend some time. Something I've been doing a lot more of recently is doing a lot more tea leaf reading and teaching the art of tea leaf reading. And I've actually devised a way that I can do it at psychic fairs. So it's something I'm going to be very looking forward to do and very happy to be doing in the next couple of weeks at fairs. And I'm going to start doing that in Ottawa and Oneonta. And as far as I can see, maybe doing something in with Tiffany at her shop in Connecticut in that first week of May when I'm traveling. That's something. Those are details we'll have to work out later. It's just a matter of whether or not I can find a babysitter for the dog. Sammy does require quite a bit of time. So I don't know if I've ever spoken about my dog before, but Sammy is a beautiful, huge dog. She is part Border Collie and part Newfoundland, and so she is very affectionate and thinks that she rules the roost, and quite honestly, she does. So please let me know what's going on in your life. There's a lot coming up in mine, and I'm going to say that in April, I had to stop and think about what month I was in. I am having some really wonderful guests on. You all heard Dennis call in last week and talk to my husband about chakras and auras, and I am going to have him on in April. And I am having a lovely lady by the name of Diana on at the end of the month, and she runs the Shift Fair, tuning in, tuning out, up, I believe, and she is a wonderful minister who works out of Lilydale and out of her new metaphysical church in Oneonta, New York, and it's been such an exciting endeavor for her, and I've really enjoyed watching and reading about what she's accomplished in the short year that I've known her, so it's been quite exciting. And then I'm hoping to have my friend Catherine, the blue-haired medium, come back on and do some readings with me on air. She's always a lot of fun, and I really respect everything that she's done in her practice and how she's growing her business in spite of some tough times that I think we both went through last fall. It's been gratifying to watch and support each other. And the other person, I'm not sure who I'm going to have on, but I do know I've got a few things coming up in the next little while. And look to June being a time where you're going to see a couple of fundraising events I'm doing. I will be doing a fundraising event, and it's going to be an Oracle Night in early June, and that will be for a charity called Navy Street, and Navy Street Charity provides wheelchair ramps, portable wheelchair ramps to those who cannot obtain them through the regular circuits, and they can be quite pricey. So what an Oracle Night is, it's an evening where we get 6 or 8 readers, and there'll be anything from mediums to palmists to crystal ball readers, a few tarot readers, and I usually pull out something different and do tea leaves or something that, so we have a little bit of a variety. And for a price, you'll get 3 little tiny mini readings and a beverage, and of course you can always purchase extra readings on the night, and more information about that will be on my website, and that will be at a venue in Woodbridge, Ontario. The other things that I'm doing is on Monday nights I do a pathworking night on the first Monday of the month, and that's basically a guided meditation class, and that's been quite a lot of fun. We've gotten a few different people out, and one comment I always get afterwards is, I slept so well. I slept so well afterwards. So that's always a lot of fun. Of course, on the second Monday of the month, I'm having my Psychic Cafe that will be virtual. It's just been no time. I have been so swamped with clients and other events going on that I haven't had time to take that virtually. This month we worked on palm reading, and we had a group of, I believe it was 8 or 10 of us out, and by the end of the hour and a half we were reading each other's palms, and with quite a bit of success. So it was quite an interesting night. And if you've ever taken a palm introduction class through Psychic Cafe, you know that one of the things I hand out is an overlay of your palm, and it's an acetate sheet, and you can actually see the lines of the palm, and you can see where they are on your hand, so you can line it up and see what they look like and where they're supposed to be and what have you, and it gives you just a bit of a guideline. And you get 2 of these sheets, and the other one is where it tells you where your mounds are. So it was quite interesting by the end of the night, where a number of the girls were thinking maybe it was time to hit, a few places that might serve a few beverages and feel everybody's mound of Venus and see, if they were somebody they might like to get to know a little better. So it was quite an interesting evening. We had 8 women and 1 young man there that who was turning quite red by the end of the evening. So it was a lot of fun, and he thought so too. And then the third Monday of the month, and you'll notice it's always on a Monday because I don't have a lot of evenings that I don't have clients. But on the third Monday of the month, I do a workshop called Full Moon Magic, and every month we do something a little bit different. We've done spell casting, and we do puppet magic and sympathetic magic, and the next one on the agenda is knot or rope magic, and in that we'll make witches' ladders and some knot magic. And I like to do witches' ladders when things are. Witches' ladder is when you work knot magic for a purpose, and then afterwards you get rid of it. And my favorite way is releasing it to the elements. I prefer to burn, but some people like to throw it in the water or bury it. So it's entirely up to you how you get rid of you finish your witch's ladder. That's on you. And then recently I've joined a I always talk about my Happy Healthy Women. I love it. It's my favorite women's group, and I've recently changed branches from Vaughan to Etobicoke, so I have a bunch of things happening there, and it's such an exciting group to work with. I am doing a Discovering Tarot class with them tomorrow in Etobicoke at Java Joe's on Dundas Street, and then I am doing a day of readings later on in April, a meditation night, and one of the things we are doing is we're going to gather at the Labyrinth in High Park in Toronto, and we are going to do a labyrinth walk. And I think the only way I can describe a labyrinth walk is you walk the labyrinth. It's like a meditation, but you don't have to focus on going within because you're concentrating on where you're walking and where you're putting your feet. And when I'm doing it, I'm holding the energy, but I'm also watching how you walk it. And I am looking at where your feet are in relationship to the lines, where your feet are in relationship to the elements and directions. So if you're having a wobble somewhere in your labyrinth, if you're having a wobble in your emotional segment, but is it all emotion or is there something else? Is there an underlying cause? Maybe you're not grounding, maybe you're not focused, maybe you need to work on something else as well. And so it's always interesting to interpret the labyrinth. I remember doing this in the UK with a young couple who were about to get married, and we did it for them, we worked as a pre-marital course, and they did it a couple of different ways. One was they led each other blindfolded, so the person in front basically pulled the person behind, and then the next way we did it was with the one in front being blindfolded, and they were guided around by the person behind. So it was quite interesting, and it's one of my favorite workshops to teach because it's so much fun. So we do have another caller. I bet you I know who this is. So if you would like to put on my caller from BC, that would be awesome. Hello, Gayla.
Hello, beautiful. Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. It was funny. I'm like, yay, I hope it's her.
How can I help? What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to ask a question because these energies, and I know everyone's talking about where the planets are in this house and that house, and I know that it's a crazy time of shifting and change, and then because of the spring equinox, new birth, I wanted to know what the energy around that's kind of going on just in my relationship, because it's taken a shift, as you already probably know, and I just kind of want to see kind of what energy that you pick up that maybe is around it, or if there's something for me to help me to better navigate through it.
Yeah, definitely big shift. It seems to be like it's more than one. It seems to me like it's a couple of different things going on, and I think that you guys are both so busy with outside of the relationship that you need to actually maybe focus and pay attention to the details within the relationship. I think that's sort of slipping away from you because let's face it, it's not new and exciting anymore. Now it's the work. But, sometimes the harder we work on things, the better it is. So stop taking each other for granted and make it all new and exciting again.
So will that shift on their end, too? Because I have been trying to do that, but they are even busier than me.
Yeah, he is. But that part of that time of year for him, too. So we have to give him a little bit of slack. But really work on it and make him feel appreciated and special again. And I know he's going to do that for you. What's your new project? What are you doing?
Right now, just trying to get my book up and ready in my cards. So that's my newest one, and I got all my teas ready, so I'm ready to about get that tea line launched. So yeah, lots of crazy things coming up.
Yeah, because I can feel all the new things going on around you, and it's so exciting and new. And so remember that when you going in, because some of that, like as proud as he is of you, and I get that, there's a little bit of, because he's seeing all this envy there's all this envy because he's seeing all these great things that are about to happen for you, and he's sort of stuck in that same old. So he's sort of, it's envy. There's a little bit of envy. He's a little happy. Like I know he's happy with you, but a little frustrated with the fact that he's stuck in a rut at work. He wants something more exciting too.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So just to keep, it does, no, because he is, and it's not that for me. But I just noticed there's that change, right? All that energy and everyone's shifting, and so I just wanted to make sure we're okay, because I really felt it. I felt very emotionally not myself and all over the place, and I just wanted to make sure it's not a misreading in it, because there's just so much going on, but we're okay. It's just keep plugging away through it. Yes, that's what you do, kind of, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's no lack of commitment or anything like that for either one of you. You've both made such great strides in the last little while that that's not even an issue. So don't think like that at all. It's just there's a lot going on for you, and make time for each other.
Okay. I'm working on that. Thank you, beautiful.
You're welcome. Have a great, awesome afternoon.
Yeah, you too, beautiful. Bye-bye.
Bye, Gayla.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gayla's awesome. She's a very intuitive person herself and a lot on the go, and she also does a lot of workshops and things like that in various different places, so she's a lot of fun. She's always got a new project on. So what else is going on in your life? There's lots of different things going on for a lot of different people, but as Gayla said, there's a lot of shifting going on in the world, and there's a lot of transition. There's a lot of different things that happen for and around us, and we have to think about that. What is your breakthrough moment? What is your aha moment? What are you going to do? There's so much that, what actually makes you sit back and go, yeah, you know, this is my time. This is when I need to grab it. This is when I need to make things work for me. This is when I need to stop holding back and letting myself go. If life were a tarot card right now, it would be one of the aces. And for me, the aces are always those breakthroughs, be it emotionally, financially, intellectually, or creatively. So if you were only going to pull an ace, what ace would it be? Would it be the one that says it's time for me to study and make sure that I get what I want intellectually? Or is this the time where I have to sit back and figure out what I want financially? Or is this where I'm going to make things happen? Just because it's not happening for you right now, maybe you have to look at what you're putting into it and what you're getting out of it. Spring is a great time, Ostara, for me. It's Ostara. It's a time when you are setting goals and planting the seeds for what's happening in the future. So this is a really good time for me to start working on that Oracle deck of mine. And I actually have started it, and I'm reaching out to people, and I'm making connections. And that's something that we all need to do. So what would you do if you could choose to start a project right now, be it a money-making project or a creative project, or if you were looking to do something to work on an emotional level or a financial level, or what would you do? What would be that thing that gave you the aha moment? It's really funny. We had to sit down last week and in a workshop I was in, and actually say, what is the one thing you want to accomplish this year? And I know I did it last year, and last year I set my goals, and it took me to this year to complete them all. But I did do it. I wanted to average X number of shows. And I mean, for myself, I mean psychic fairs that I wanted to do. And my magic number was 24. It was 2 a month. And it was shows or home parties or events. And actually, by the end of February, I had, from last February to this February, I had accomplished that. So what did I want to accomplish this year? Well, I had to sit back and think, what do I want to accomplish this year? And it came to me. I want to actually have a dedicated day off where I say no to everybody and everything, because I never say no. I will always try and squeeze in a client or make room for a party or do something for somebody else. I say no to, the only person I say no to is myself or my husband, and there's other people I can say no to. So I did it for the first time on Sunday. I had a client call me on Friday and want to rebook her appointment, and she wanted Sunday. And I said, no. And, I don't feel guilty about it. I did rebook her. I did rebook her for a Monday, but I didn't give up my day with my husband. And he appreciated it. I appreciated it. And we had a great time wandering around outside and reconnecting with the earth. And, it was one of those days where we got to see 3 of the 4 elements. We walked along the lake and saw, felt the spray in our face, so that was my water element. It was very windy, so that was my air element. And I was covered in mud, so that was my earth element. So, yeah, I did miss the fire and I didn't miss the spirituality, because that's always a part of what we do. The only thing I really missed was the fire, and if I'd really gotten down to it, I could have come home and made a fire in my fire pit. I didn't do that, but I could have. Instead, I came home and cooked a beautiful family dinner for my husband and the boys, and we had a great family day, and it's something we haven't done in such a long time. So what do you want to say? What do you want to accomplish? What seeds are you going to sow for the next little while? Let me know. Facebook me, email me. I do get back to just about everybody. So please take that time and Facebook me or email me and let me know what your goal is. Not a resolution. It's in no way, shape, or form it's a resolution, but it's something that you want to accomplish. So it's not like I need to quit smoking and need to lose 30 pounds. It's something that you want to accomplish for you. So what do you want to accomplish this year? What is a project or something, what is your aha moment that you need to do? Think about that and, work on it and figure it out. Again, you can always get in touch with me through www.bettyjaneware.com, or you can email me at bettyjaneware@me.com. My phone number is 416-894-2602, and I will tell you now, if it comes up unknown name, unknown number, I am not going to answer the phone, but go ahead and leave a message, and I will call you back, I promise. There's a lot going on right now, so please, feel free to get in touch with me, and I promise I will call you back. I will email you back, and I will message you back. I am Betty Jane Ware on Facebook, Betty Jane Ware 1 to be exact, but I'm sure I will come up either way. And on Facebook, I do keep in touch with everybody. I do answer my messages. I am very good at that. What projects have you got on the go this year? What seeds are you planting? Those are things to think about. So what else is going on in the world? Well, I'm not going to get into politics because that's just way over my pay scale, I got to tell you. And it's really not the show for that. So what's in your hand? Let's talk about the hand. A lot of people it was interesting, one of the ladies said to me, my lifeline ends, but it ends in my headline. And she didn't know what to do with that. And so we talked about it for a while, and I said that there's probably people out here who may agree or disagree. That's okay. That to me, that it meant that your lifeline, your quality of life was always going to be good, and that she wasn't going to have to worry about her old age and maybe dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that, because what I could see in the palm was that her lifeline was strong, so her quality of life was going to be good. There was no breaks. There was nothing to indicate a lot of stress, so that was interesting. One of the other things we talked about with the palm was whether or not you had that big M in the middle of your palm, which was the lucky M. But and what that means, and whether or not it was on one hand or both hands. It was really interesting because there were two of us who work in the business, shall we say, of doing readings and working with doing psychic events and what have you, and neither one of us had an intuitive line, which we thought was kind of funny. So looking at each other and trying to figure it out, we both kind of went, And then I realized that both of us were working mediums. So we didn't work with intuition necessarily. We worked with spirit. So our messages come from spirit. So the fact that we didn't have an intuitive line, that just meant that most of our messages came from spirit. So it's not that we weren't intuitive. The bulk of our work comes from a different direction. So that was kind of an interesting thing to do. And just to let you know that next week I'll be talking a little bit more about the clairs, the clairsentience, the clairaudience, the seeing, the hearing, the knowing on the show a little bit. And I'm going to be bringing in some people that are a little more knowledgeable about, who work with that a little more than I do. Although I do all of those things, understanding them. It's not something I've never had any formal training in mediumship or reading at all. My grandmother used to work with me, and I've had one class with Gordon Smith, which I absolutely adored, and I'm going back in June to take the second class. But I found out something about myself in that class. I am probably a nightmare as a client. So that was kind of interesting. But so I'm learning on a whole new level, and I'm finding it so it's what I do. It's what I love to do. So learning on this level is really, so we will be talking about the clairs and the differences between them and things like that. And we're going to get into a little bit of depth and detail. The other thing I want to touch on a little bit is a little bit of an intro to the witchcraft and the spellcraft, and those are two subjects that I teach and really like to do. And as I said, in Mother's Day weekend, I am doing a class in connecting with your spirit guides or your angels or whatever you call them. So it is going to be, I'm going to tell you now, I know by the end of the first day that you will be connecting with them, and I know by the end of the second day, and it is a 2-day course, that you will be very comfortable in doing it. It's a class that I've taught quite a bit, and you will probably know the name of your spirit guide, or at least one of your spirit guides, by lunch on the first day. That is something I will also reiterate here, is that I always provide lunch and snacks and refreshments for you when you're taking classes with me. It just makes it easier, and that way you know you don't have to worry about it. If time permits, if weather permits, we'll be spending some time outside in nature and doing it. I always love to connect with spirit guides because I always find that it doesn't matter how big the class is or how small the class, there's always somebody that's really surprised because they didn't think that they could do it. And that's always a lot of fun when they realize that, you know what, I can do this, I've got this, and their own sort of take on it. And when people really get into it and share and lose that inhibition, it's so much fun to watch for me, and it's very rewarding. So I can't wait to see that next week or on Mother's Day weekend. I will run it again in June as well. I've had some requests for it already because of conflicts. What else is going on? Like I said, this weekend I'll be in Belleville, Ontario, so I hope to see some of you come to Belleville to see me. And then a weekend off, and then to Toronto, to the Mega Psychic Fair in Toronto. And for all my Toronto area peeps, there is a coupon on my Facebook page right now for a discounted admission. And then we have, after that, we have the Ottawa Psychic Fair, which is really great. It's at the Best Western at Bell's Corner in Ottawa. And after that, I'm at Shift in Oneonta, New York at the Holiday Inn. And then we're teaching after that in Salem, Massachusetts. So it's a witchcraft boot camp. And apparently I'm talking to Tiffany about doing something at her shop as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to sign off shortly with a happy spring to everyone. And don't forget to see my website at www.bettyjaneware.com. And if there's anything that I've said or you want some more clarification on, or if you just want to connect and touch base, sign up for my newsletters, things like that, please go ahead and do so through that website. And you can always email me at bettyjaneware@me.com. And my phone number is 416-894-2602. And remember, that is a phone that will not be answered if you do not have your name or number come up with the call. But if you leave a message, I will call you back, I promise. I am very good at that. And you can go to my online booking on my website to book a reading with me, and that's not a problem at all. I hope to hear from you, and I want to thank everybody for calling in and being a part of the show this evening, and I can't wait to talk to you all next week when we talk about the clairs, clairaudience, clairsentience, seeing, hearing, knowing, all those things. So I'll talk to you all next week. So it's www.bettyjaneware.com. I'm in Belleville this weekend with Vision Quest Psychic Fairs, and there is a coupon on my website for them as well. I'm at the Travel Lodge in Belleville on Bay Ridge Road on Friday from noon until 9, on Saturday from 11 until 9, and on Sunday from 11 until 7. I might sneak out a little early if the weather is bad, and I hope to see you all. And if you mentioned that you heard me on the radio, I do have a little gift for you, because you're all stars in my eyes. So again, please connect with me at www.bettyjaneware.com and have an awesome evening. Thank you and goodbye.